No, not now.
You are a disgrace.
No, you are not my father. I am not a disgrace. I am vengeance. I am the knight. I am
the orange team.
And just like that, we found out Batman was a GWS fan. Who knew? Hello everybody, Cooper here, and welcome to another episode of rebuilding every single team in AFL 26. And today, we finally get a chance to do GWS. My neighbours, the construction of the neighbouring fence is now complete, and it should be relatively quiet. We've got our fingers crossed. We hope you're all doing very, very well today. I have no idea what to do with the objectives for today's video because I don't really know what to expect from GWS because they could finish in the top 4. They could finish outside of the final spot. I really have no idea. So in terms of this, I think what we're going to try and do is just go flat down the middle, be placed in the top 10 by season's end. We get a decent signing bonus and we get a nice completion bonus as well. But GWS are in a bit of a funny spot in real life at the moment. They made a grand final, I think, in 2019, where they got absolutely smoked by Dustin Martin and Richmond. They've made a couple of other prelims, and they made a prelim last year, and I believe they got knocked out by Brisbane. I think that was in the prelim or the semi, I can't remember. So there's a couple of different directions we can go with this, because if we have a look at their roster, there's some really, really good talent. You know, the Harvey Thomases, the Darcy Jones, the Aaron Cadman, who had a very, very good game. Had his breakout game last weekend. We've got some decent young talent. We've got Tom Green, who obviously is probably one of our best players, if not our best player overall. But then we've got some of the inaugural giants, your Lockie Whitfields, your Caniglios, your Toby Greens, who I would obviously love to keep, but I don't know if they're going to be a part of our first grand final side. And then obviously we've got Callan Ward, who also was an inaugural giant, but did tear his ACL. I believe it was his ACL. It is probably retired now. I am going to keep him around for the rest of the video, even if his attributes diminish horribly, because he and alongside Toby Green are the heart and soul of GWS. So this first season, as we know, we're not going to change anything because there's nothing really to change. I'm not going to touch any contracts at this stage. I will see you guys at the end of the 2025 season. Hopefully, we finish in the top 10 and we can sort of push for a final spot. In terms of our objectives for the end of the 2025 season, we did win 3 interstate games. However, we did fail to win 7 games against top 8 teams from last season. And did we finish in the top 10? We finished in 4th. We're doing very, very well. And we are going to be renewing our rivalry with the Western Bulldogs in a qualifying final at Marvel Stadium. But life is very, very cruel, as Callan Ward has also done his ACL in AFL 26. He obviously didn't have the injury at the start of the season. He has played games for me this year, but he's done his ACL again. So I don't know what to do about this, really. I'm assuming I'll still keep him. Harrison Oliver, he's going to be out for a while with a dislocated shoulder. Unfortunately, I mean, he's one of our better young players. I think we picked him up in the draft last year. Hopefully, he can be decent for us in Season 2. But that brings us to the Western Bulldogs. We're just going to keep our training as we have for the last couple of weeks. And I think this has basically been the team that we've picked for the entirety of the season. I did start Callan Ward on a half-back flank, but since he came in, or got injured, I should say, Ryan Angwin has come in and done a decent job at half-back. And I think this lineup has what it takes to at least be the foundation of a Premiership team. We'll just have to see what we can do in 2025. We're just going to simulate through this game against the Doggies. We lose, unfortunately, by 30 points at Marvel. Not a good game for us. And we now have to take on Geelong in a home final at NG. But Geelong, I'm kind of scared of Geelong, I will be honest. They're just this team that sort of keeps on coming back no matter how old they get. James Buckley. Jack Buckley is out, unfortunately. I don't actually know what he is injured. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Lee Galea can come in for his first game of the season, and we lose to Geelong by a point. We were up by almost 20 in the last quarter. They kicked 4 goals to 3. I mean, a lot of those came towards the back end, and we just really crapped the bed in this one, unfortunately. But that is our season done. Tom Liberatore wins another Brownlow medal. He got one in, was it the Doggies video? I can't remember. It was definitely a couple of videos ago. Tom Green, second in the Brownlow. Luke Parker getting up there, showing a bit in his older years. Sam Walsh, Jai Newcomb, Monsieur Hewitt, not doing too bad. The Bont, Sheasel, some big names here. And in terms of the Coleman, Treacy with 52 goals wins the Coleman this year. Sam Darcy not too far behind on 46. Ben King getting up there. Jesse Hogan, really the only Giant representing on this list. He gets the 39 goals, finishing in 4th. No Giants on the Rising Star, unfortunately. Harry Himmelberg makes the All-Australian team on a half-back flank, it looks like. That's strange. Tom Green in a roving position. Any other Giants that I can see not to be this year? So just the 2 All-Australians. And the Doggies beat Geelong in the Grand Final by 42 points. So I guess it makes me comfortable that we did lose to the 2 teams that made the Grand Final. I guess that makes sense. Let's see who did well in the Granny. Let's have a quick squiz. Who gets Norm Smith? Adam Treloar gets the Norm Smith medal. Probably overdue for him to win a premiership. He's obviously got traded from GWS to Collingwood. I forgot where he got traded for a second, but then he's like, oh, Collingwood have a better chance of winning premierships than Richmond. And then Richmond won 3 premierships, and then he made the grand final with Collingwood, and then he lost that against West Coast, and then he made the grand final in 2021 with the Bulldogs, and then he also lost that one. So good for Adam Treloar to finally get a premiership, as I believe we actually traded him away in our Bulldogs rebuild, so that's quite funny. Dangerfield, 44 touches for Geelong as well. Treloar with the 42. Any goals for Treloar? Not that I can see, but anyway, well done to the Bulldogs. Now it's time to have a look at the contracts that we have that are expiring at the end of 2025, and to be perfectly honest, there's not any players that I really feel like I need to bring back. There's 6 players off the books at the moment, and all of which I feel like are pretty disposable. So I'm not going to sign any new contracts at this stage. But if we have a look at our list, I think there's a few things that we need to address. We need a 3rd key big. I think that is, when I say key big, I mean a key forward. We've got Jesse Hogan, who obviously was very, very good. We've got Aaron Cadman, who's one for the future. Yes, we have Jake Stringer, but I really sort of count him as like almost like he's like a hybrid between a small forward and a key forward. He's listed as a key forward, but I've really just been playing him in a pocket. So I really want to get another decent key forward. Also, some halfback flankers I think are going to be the most important thing to have a look at here. And we can also see here in our player transfers that Xavier O'Halloran, Leakerly, and Dirksen have all been delisted. Callan Ward has unfortunately retired due to his knee injury. My first free agent signing of the off-season is going to be Jack Silvani from Carlton. Now, I know that he is a father-son, obviously, to Carlton, but if I'm not mistaken, I think the Silvanis have had a bit to do with the Giants over the years. I'm not 100% sure if that is accurate, but I think he is going to be a really good 3rd key tall in the forward line. And he also is very flexible. He can go back and play in the back line if needed. So welcome to the Giants, Jack Silvani. Next up, we have signed Luke Bruce from Hawthorn on a 2-year deal. He is from New South Wales. Obviously, he spent his entire career at Hawthorn. He's won flags. He's won goal-kicking awards. I believe he's even won All-Australians. We're going to see if he can bring the inaugural premiership to the Giants and help us along the way, provide a bit of experience to our forward line. To replace the role of Lockie Keefe, who we have let go via being delisted, we have brought in Tom McDonald on a 2-year deal from Melbourne. He is a big guy. He can go around, kick lots and lots of goals. He can also be a bit of a backup ruck option for us off the bench. We're not done with Melbourne yet. We've also picked up his mate Jake Melksham on a 1-year deal. Again, just an experienced option in our forward line. Provide a bit of mentoring for our young small forwards. We're also going to take a bit of a gamble on Tom Lynch, who Richmond have let go. We've signed him up to a 2-year deal worth $285,000 a season. I think there is a little bit of something there that if Jesse Hogan, for whatever reason, goes down, we can put him in the goal square. I don't expect him to run up the ground. We just leave him in the forward 50. He can hopefully kick some goals for us. In terms of the other free agent moves around the league, looks like Oscar Allen is the only other free agent to move. He's now over to Melbourne. West Coast get pick 24 in the deal, and the Crows have traded Mitch Hinge to West Coast in exchange for pick 64 and 22. Patrick Voss is now off to Richmond. Jace Burgoyne, for whatever reason, Port Adelaide always trade him, and he's off to the Bulldogs for pick 18. And Connor McDonald has been traded to Melbourne from Hawthorn in exchange for pick 60 and pick 5. In terms of our draft hand, we can see we've got pick 14 in the national draft in the first round, along with pick 33, 55, 74, and then we get into our later picks. Now, I'm not really that interested in the draft this year, so I think I just want to basically fill up on the rest of our roster spots. We've got 4 spots left, just under 600 grand to spend. I wonder what we're going to do with that. I'm going to have a look around. I've got a few players in mind, but we'll just have to wait and see what becomes available. Fairly small deal this one. We're going to be sending Wardius, Ralston and Madden off to St Kilda for their 3rd round pick, which is pick 52. Hopefully this deal will go through. They say yes. This one's just about clearing a little bit of salary because there is actually one more free agent that I want to have a look at. And I think apart from pick 14 in the draft, which we probably will trade at one point, there isn't really going to be that many trade moves for us to do in this rebuild. We're now going to be sending pick 14, Jack Watkins, who we picked up in the mid-season draft, Callum Brown and Connor Stone, over to the Bulldogs in exchange for their future first-round pick, pick 37 in the 2nd round, as well as a future 2nd. Hopefully they say yes to this deal. They say no. Let's take out the future 2nd, and they say that is extremely fair. There is a very specific reason I've done this deal, because the specific reason is we're going to be bringing Adam Treloar back to the Giants. I know he just won a premiership with the Bulldogs. I know he just won the Norm Smith medal, but he is a free agent and he was a part of the inaugural Giants. Let's bring him home. He wants a little bit more money. Fine, we'll give him a little bit more money. We're giving him a 3-year deal. He has accepted. Welcome back, Adam Treloar. We're now actually a little bit over the salary cap, so we're going to need to do a little bit of tweaking here. Who's going to be the noble sacrifice here that we're going to part with? I need to have a look and see what we can get rid of. I think Toby Bedford's going to be the one to miss out, unfortunately. We didn't really play him a lot last season, and he's basically on the perfect amount of money that we do need to get rid of for us to get back under the salary cap before the start of the draft. So we just need to find him a home. We're also going to include Mr. Riccardi. I think it's Jake, or is it Jack? I can't remember. We're going to be sending Toby Bedford and Jay Riccardi, I can't remember his first name, off to Geelong for their 2nd round pick, which is pick 36, and their future 2nd round pick. They say we're close to an agreement. I'm happy to chuck in some of our 3rd round picks from this year because I just want to sort of maintain a bit of a presence at the top of the draft. They say yes to 2 3rd round picks. Our work here is done. We've mainly done a lot of our damage in free agency. We did bring in, I think, 6 players actually. No, yes, 6 players. Just quick maths is not my strong suit. So Jack Silvani is on board. We've got Jake Melcham, Tom Lynch, Tom McDonald, Luke Bruce, and Adam Treloar. Well, he's not a free agent, but we got him via trade. It's good to see him back in a Giants uniform. Time for the draft. We are currently 400 grand under the salary cap. We may have to do some wiggle room at a later date, but hopefully we should be okay for the start of the season. And we've actually been proposed a trade from Collingwood for Jack Buckley and pick 34 in the 2nd round, exchange for their future 1st and pick 53. I'm going to say no to that deal because I don't want to trade Mr. Buckley. And in terms of other deals done around the league, Ryan Burton is off to North Melbourne as a free agent in exchange for pick 40. Jamara has been traded to Melbourne in exchange for their future 1st and pick 24. Zach Bailey's been traded from Brisbane to Carlton in exchange for pick 30 and pick 54. Matt Rao is off to Hawthorn in exchange for pick 5 and pick 42. Callum Archie's off to Richmond via free agency. Ollie Dempsey has been traded from Geelong to St Kilda in exchange for a future first, and Josh Weddle has been traded to the Bulldogs in exchange for a future second round pick and pick 14, which was our original pick. Now time for the national draft. We only have 3 picks to make, and they're all going to be very, very early, I would imagine. Pick 34 is going to be our first look at the draft. We can see that Andrew Hansen is the recommended player, so let's just see what he is all about. It looks to be a decent prospect, 82 to 87 potential as a halfback flanker. I ideally want someone a little bit more, I guess, not experienced, but someone with a bit of a higher potential, or at least a better overall. But we are going to take him because we do have a few picks in this area, so we can afford to take a bit of a gamble. We now have back-to-back picks here, back in the second round, and we're just going to have a look at some of the higher-end talent in the AFL draft in terms of overall ratings. I am not really a big fan of any of these. I mean, who's going to really be able to help us at this point in time? We could go in the direction of Darcy Tucker, but I feel like we've drafted him a couple of times. If we go a little bit further down the list, we can see we've got a few former AFL talents. We've got Jonty Scharenberg, used to play for Collingwood. Mitch Crowden, former teammate of mine, used to play for Fremantle. He's actually just done his ACL in real life, so yeah, keep going, Mitch. We'll know you'll be back some point next year. Aaron Francis is another key tool. Tom Downey, I think, is going to be the pick, though. Another former Giant. He may have been an inaugural Giant as well. We're going to pick him up as sort of a spare ruck. And with our last pick, let's go to someone who was in the league last year. Let's see if there's anybody decent. We can see there's Bodie Ryan. There's Lockie Rawlinson. Or Rawlinson, I should say. But I think I'm going to go with someone who's actually on my Port Adelaide team at the moment, and it's Joshy Lay. I think another midfielder, bit of youth in there. He's going to be just fine, and our draft period is done. And as for the back end of the trade period, Jack Bowes has been traded from Geelong to St Kilda for pick 11 and 31. Mitch Lewis is off to Brisbane for pick 26. Cade Chandler is off to West Coast from Melbourne for pick 23. Lockie Bramble's been traded to North Melbourne for pick 25. And Nasiah Wanganeen-Millera has been traded to the Gold Coast Suns for pick 5 and pick 13. And as for the rookie draft, I think I'm just going to go best player available. So Darcy Tucker, I don't expect him to play, but he's really just there if all the season turns to crap. Same kind of deal with our next couple of picks. We'll just see who is available. We'll pick a few players that I think can do a job for us. Is Oscar Lowe? Oliver Lowe, I was close. He used to play for the Bulldogs. Has a bit of potential as a small forward. Could probably do with a bit of mentoring from the likes of Luke Bruce and Jake Melksham. Ari Schoenmaker is the next pick, former St Kilda player. He has now been picked up in the rookie draft. He's not a mean pick, but he is a decent player, good young player. Sam Butler used to play for Hawthorn, and he's going to be decent. I feel like he's going to be okay. I couldn't find a funny player that I was going to draft, but Toby Murray, for whatever reason, was really, really cool last season, and I think we're done here. And as for our next season's objectives, I think we just go for it and try and reach the grand final and win it. I'm going to go all out in this upcoming season, and coincidentally, we have Carlton in the preseason game. I say coincidentally because we did get Jack Silvani, so he's going to have his first crack at his old team today. We've put together our best 22 for the year, and I think this is actually a very, very decent chance of winning a premiership. We've got Connor Iden in a back pocket, Harry Himmelberg at fullback, Sam Taylor in a back pocket. Now, I'm really just going to be rotating through our 3 key defenders, mainly because, I mean, one of them is bound to get injured. So Sam Taylor, just for now, is sitting in a back pocket, but I do think he will play a bit more of a central position later down the season. Lockie Ash at halfback, Jack Buckley at centre halfback, Lockie Whitfield on the other halfback flank, Canelio, Treloar, Callahan, Kelly, and Tom Green in the midfield. What a midfield that is. With Kieran Briggs in the ruck, Jack Silvani on a half-forward flank, with Aaron Cadman, Uncle Toby, Darcy Jones, Jesse Hogan, and Brent Daniels in the forward line, with Tom McDonald, the string, Luke Bruce, and Harrison Oliver on the bench with Harvey Thomas as the sub. Notable omissions are James Leake. We've got Tom Downey as our sort of third backup ruck, I guess. Tom Lynch as the backup key forward for when the wheels fall off. Jake Melksham also, as well as the youngsters like your Cody Angos, your Phoenix Gothards, and the others. We're going to simulate this Carlton game. We'll see how we go. We win by a very nice margin of 69 points, 11 goals to 2 in the final quarter. Sam Welsh still gets best on, but lots of goals from Jesse Hogan and Cadman combined. I like the look for this season. I'm very, very excited to see how we go. We've got opening round up against Collingwood. Very, very keen to see how this goes. We'll quickly go over our season objectives. Obviously, we picked that we are going to win the grand final, but we got to win 8 games at home this year as well and win 2 finals. We obviously have to win 2 finals if we're going to at least make the grand final. So those 2 objectives kind of go hand in hand. Anyway, round 1 up against Collingwood. Let's see how we go. It's a nice win at home. We didn't really kick that straight, but we still win by 5 goals. Josh Kelly in the votes, as well as Finn Callahan. Lockie Schultz doing not too bad either. A very, very good win to start the year. But I'll meet up with you guys at the end of the home and away season in 2026. Hopefully, we can make some progress by still finishing in the top 4. If I do say so myself, this is the best performance we've had so far in one of these rebuilds. We finished 21-2 at the top of the ladder. And I can say the 2 games that we did lose, we lost to Richmond, and I can't remember who the other team that we lost to was, but we lost those games by a combined total of about 4 points. The Richmond game was actually, I think we're on like a 13 or 14 game winning streak to start the year, if I can find it. It was this game here. We didn't lose until round 16, so we'd won 15 games in a row. We lost to Richmond at home by 3 points. Tim Taranto, former Giant, of course, went absolutely berserk, had 37 disposals and kicked 3 goals. Josh Kelly was also very good. And then we lost 2 weeks later against Geelong at home again by 1 point. So that was very, very interesting that we lost 2 games all year against, Richmond's interesting, but Geelong, very, very good side. And then we beat the Swans by 98 points in the last round of the season, which is always great. But now we have Brisbane, home game, qualifying final. Hopefully, we can go halfway decent in this final series. I'm a little bit nervous because, we actually don't have any injuries right now, but I think we had like 10 injuries up at one point, even though we were still winning a lot of games. But at the moment, we don't have any injuries, which is great. But let's sim this game up against Brisbane. We've won so many games this year, but we lose by 52 at home in a qualifying final. I do not understand. Are we going to go out in straight sets for 2 years in a row? I am really hopeful that is not going to be the case. And now Luke Bruce is injured. That's obviously not the end of the world, but still not ideal. We'll bring Harvey Thomas in. James Leake can be the sub. Hawthorn, where do they finish? They finished in 5th, and they would have beaten Carlton to get to this point. So let's see how we go up against the Mighty Hawks. We lose by a point. We're going to have to do another off-season. We go out in straight sets 2 years running. Ginnivan kicks 5. Finn Callahan actually had quite a good game, but not going to be enough. Unfortunately, we lose once again. We have a tie in the Brownlow medal, and it is Luke Parker and Bontempelli, 2 names who did very, very well at the end of Season 1. Elliot Yeo finishes in 3rd, Caleb Sarong, Callum Mills, Matt Crouch, Tom Green up there in the votes as well. We've got Logan Morris, who finished at the top of the Coleman, Lockie Schultz in 2nd, Sam Darcy in 3rd, Cadman up there doing very, very nicely, Jesse Hogan and Uncle Toby doing very good as well. And in the Rising Star, we had nobody. In terms of the All-Australian team, Jack Buckley was very, very good in the back line. If we get further down, do we only have 1 All-Australian? No, we had Tom Green as well. So 2 All-Australians from a team that won 21 games in the home and away season. Not happy. Not happy at all. And Brisbane beat Sydney in the grand final again after the 2024 experience. They have now got another grand final, and Sydney have lost another grand final. So that is quite good for us. But let's just have a quick look at our inbox. Everybody's back from injury, which is lovely. How are we going contract-wise? That is not where I'm looking for. We have a whole bunch of cap space and a whole bunch of contracts that we do need to sign. In fact, we have 21 players that are out of contract, and yeah, basically everybody that's any good is out of contract. Okay, this is going to take a while. I've re-signed all the contracts that I wanted to. We've got 11 players or so left over to sign up. The only one that I'm really considering, mainly because the other ones are kind of grumpy because I didn't give them enough game time, so we're going to move them on. So Melksham, who we just brought in, he doesn't want to renew his contract, and all the other ones I'm going to trade away because I do think there is some value there. But the one that I'm considering keeping is Jake Stringer. I just have no idea what I want to do with him. So I may trade him, I may keep him. He is a free agent. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But everybody else, if we have a quick look at our roster entirely, basically everybody else that we did play last season is staying. My first deal of free agency is going to be getting a proper either backup or number one ruckman. So we're going to be grabbing Jared Witts from the Gold Coast Suns. We're going to offer him a 2-year deal worth just over $800,000 a season. He is accepted. Will he or Kieran Briggs be the number one? We'll just have to wait and see. Now, my last free agency target, I'm really only going to go for 2 players here, but it is Jamie Elliott. Now, you're probably wondering what the connection is between Jamie Elliott and GWS. It is actually a very, very interesting one. He spent his entire career at Collingwood, but it's how he got to Collingwood is the interesting bit. Now, he was a pre-draft selection from when GWS had access to underage signings, you know, that were under the legal age, not legal, but under the age of the draft. Basically, I think technically it was legal, but they could draft a whole bunch of 17-year-olds prior towards the 2011 draft. So the likes of Jeremy Cameron, the likes of Adam Treloar, the likes of Jamie Elliott were all those players. However, they had to trade. They could only sign to so many of them, but they could use other ones to trade away to get players back. Now, what they did is they traded Jamie Elliott to Collingwood and they got some draft picks, I think is basically what the nuts and bolts of the deal was. And Jamie Elliott's been very, very successful at Collingwood. Now, we're going to give him a chance to play for the Giants, the team he spent about 5 minutes with in 2011. So hopefully he accepts this deal, and he does. He's now signed up for 2 years. And with those deals done, I think that really puts me in the direction of letting go of Jake Stringer, because I don't really think he fits into this forward line anymore now that we've got some proper small forwards. I know that we've got Cadman, we've got Jesse Hogan, who we re-signed. We've got, Jack Silvani, who's kind of a key forward, but he's also kind of a key back. I think Jake Stringer is now disposable, essentially. So we need to find a home for him. We also need to find a home for these 6 other players that we are out of contract with. And we also may need to trade away 1 or 2 other players just to clear up a little bit more salary cap room, because it is a bit of a tight squeeze right now. Draft-wise, we have pick 13 and 14 in this year's draft. The pick 13, I believe that was from the Bulldogs. I think from the... There's a dog in the background. That was from the salary dump where we traded away our first-round pick to the Bulldogs last season, and they gave us theirs this season. So we traded away pick 14, we get 13 back, which is all good. We also have pick 14, which is our own pick, along with a couple of second-round picks as well. So I'm going to have a look around for some deals. I'll see what I can come up with. We're going to do a bit of a salary dump here with the Essendon Football Club. We're going to be sending Lowe, Joshy Lay, who we just picked up in the draft last year, Smith, and is it Alf? I don't really know how to say his surname. He has got a bit of potential. He's the best player of the bunch by far. 80 to 86 potential, but he doesn't want to re-sign with us. If we can get a second-round pick via Essendon, who finished bottom of the ladder, so it's really almost a first-round pick if we think about it that way. They say yes. We now have 13, 14, and 19 in the draft. We're not done yet with the trade market. We're now going to be sending McMullen, Fonte, and Delana, as well as our 4th-round pick over to Collingwood for their 2nd-round pick and 3rd-round pick in this year's draft. Hopefully they say yes, they say no. What if we ask for just pick 51? We'll take pick 70. Actually, we'll include pick 71 because we're generous. We'll just take pick 30 overall. They say yes again. And we're not done yet dealing with the doggies. Jake Stringer and Darcy Tucker are heading over to the kennel, along with pick 13 and 14 in this year's draft for pick 5. I believe that is from, if I can remember the trade, that may have been, I can't remember what the trade was, but it was a trade they got in last year's draft. We're just going to submit this deal. They say yes, we move up to pick 5 in the draft. I'm not sure if I'm going to draft someone with that pick yet, or if I'm going to use that in a trade down the line. We may as well have a quick scout of the draft pool, and it doesn't actually look that promising, to be perfectly honest. So I think this may be a year where we trade the pick. Obviously, pick 5 is still a valuable asset, if I can get my words out. And to be perfectly honest, I've just remembered I did not look at the season stats for Season 1. So we're going to quickly do it for Season 2. Ginnivan, as we know, won the Coleman medal. Who led the disposals? It was McCluggage. Marks was Callum Mills. Tackles was Murphy Reed. McCluggage got the clearances as well as the kicks. And Andy Brayshaw getting a ton of handballs as well. In terms of the ruck, Ryan Gardner led the way for the competition. But in terms of us as a club, as we know, Aaron Cadman led the goal kicking. Hogan and Toby Green. No, that is Toby Green. The two T Greens are really confusing at times. Then we've got Brent Daniels, Kelly, Callahan, and Treloar all having good seasons in front of goal. Tom Green got most of the ball. Adam Treloar, Josh Kelly, Finn Callahan getting a lot of the ball, as well as Uncle Toby. In terms of the marks, that went to Kelly. Tackles was Canelio. Clearances was Tom Green. And he also got the disposals, as we know. And Tom McDonald getting a lot of hit-outs off the bench. That's really the number 2 ruckman, which is quite funny. Now, we're going to have a look at Caleb Sarong, which you might think is a bit of a funny place for me to look, because our midfield is actually very, very good. But I've got a plan here. We're going to be having a look at trying to get Caleb Sarong in a trade. Obviously, he plays for Fremantle, but I've got good logic here. I'm going to walk through it. We're going to offer him a deal. He's a free agent as of next season. He is a free agent, so let's try and negotiate with him to see if we can get a decent salary together. Okay, we've done the deal with Caleb Sarong, and it says that GWS has not elected to match, even though we are GWS. That is strange. He's looking forward to playing for the club for the next 6 years. We are still going to do a trade with Fremantle, and what we're going to do is going to be sending Sam Taylor, pick 5, and a future first-round pick to Freo, even though Sarong, we technically have just signed him, because my viewpoint is I'm quite happy with Buckley and Himmelberg in our back 50, and as good as Sam Taylor is in real life, his stats in the game don't reflect it. So I'm trying to sort of boost the team in other ways. So, and you know, Sam Taylor's Western Australian. It's basically my problem solves your problem, makes everybody happy kind of deal. Hopefully this trade gets done. They are still saying it's no good. We'll throw in pick 20 as well. Come on, Freo, you're being greedy. Do we need to throw in another player, even though Freo technically don't deserve anything? It's a free agent signing. Although the game doesn't recognize it as it's happening a year from now. What can we throw in? Can we throw in Hansen? I don't recognize Hansen. Who are you? We'll throw you in the deal. Hopefully this works. No, they say no. Hansen was our pick in last year's draft. I've just remembered who he is. I'm going to work on this deal and I'm going to come back. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do a deal with Hawthorn. We're going to give them our future first round pick. We're going to take that out of the Fremantle deal. We're also going to send Lockie Ash over to Hawthorn in exchange for their first round pick, which is number 6 this year. They say no. What if we give you pick 33, which is our own second round pick? They still say no. We've got plenty of second round picks. I can do this all day. We just need to work out what the right combination is, and we've found it. So in the end, it is our future first, Lockie Ash, pick 31 and pick 25. They go to Hawthorn. We get pick 6. Now it's time to go back to Fremantle. I can't actually go back to Fremantle because unfortunately he's already moved over to us as a restricted free agent. So what I'm going to do as a gesture of goodwill is we're going to send pick 5 and pick 6 off to them, as I was going to do in the trade once I could do it with Caleb Sarong, and we're only going to ask for a future second round pick back. I feel like that is fair because we were going to trade these picks. We just can't do it anymore because if we go back to the list of players, he's no longer there. As a gesture of goodwill, I'm going to be sending this deal to Fremantle. They are obviously very happy with it. And I believe my good work here is done. We are currently $600,000, or just under $600,000 over the salary cap. So we will need to wiggle around with that come draft time. But as of right now, our work is done. And I just remembered why we are a bit of money over the salary cap. It's because we didn't actually trade away Sam Taylor to Fremantle. We're now going to be sending him to West Coast. I'm going to just get a future. Would they do a future first, and would they take some of our seconds away? Would that be a thing that they're interested in? They say they're almost ready to take it. We'll throw in our 3rd round pick. They say almost again. We'll throw in one of our future 2nd round picks, probably the one we picked up from Fremantle. They're not liking this at all. What if we throw in Hansen, who was our draft pick from last year? They say yes. Okay, now we're done. We've created a bit more salary cap room. We're now under the salary cap, which is lovely, but we've still got a few players that we need to draft. And as we have a look at the off-season moves, Carlton have lost Lockie Fogarty to Essendon. They get pick 40 back. Guinea, the Coleman medalist, has been traded to Geelong for pick 6. Ollie Lowe, actually these are all our deals. So there are still some more deals that we need to get through. Let's have a look. Oliver Henry has been traded from Geelong to St Kilda for a future 2nd round pick and pick 27. Massimo D'Ambrosio has been traded to the Suns in exchange for a future 2nd and a 2nd this year. Tom McCartan's off to the Eagles. Cozzy Pickett's off to Brisbane in exchange for Darcy Wilmot in a straight swap. We're past 50,000 members. Nice. Bodie Hewland is now off to North Melbourne for pick 29. Bailey Williams has been traded from the Bulldogs to Port for an unused pick and pick 22. Nick Watson is off to the Gold Coast Suns. That is something I can get behind in exchange for a future 1st and pick 4. And Ruben Ginby has been traded to North Melbourne in exchange for a future 2nd. And Georgiadis is now off to Hawthorn as well. Draft time, and we've got 9 picks that we need to make. I dare say none of them will actually play for us ever, but you never know. We can have a look here. We can see that Blake Lidler, who has a bit of a potential, I do know that, 84 to 97 potential. So even though he is, technically, I think he only just got drafted in real life to the Swans, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to pick him up. And then Kingston Mosley looks like he is going to be the best fit here, so we're going to take him with that pick. And it looks like we've actually just got back-to-back picks for the rest of the draft. And with that, our draft is done. We picked up Luca Grego, Boxall, Isaiah Winder, who I believe we just delisted, Cal Shadir, Will Phillips, Marcus Windhager, and Preston Healy, as well as Kingston Mosley, as we discussed. And we didn't pick up anybody significant in the rookie draft either. Now, in terms of the salary cap, we actually don't know if we're over or not. One player that we did actually bring back, which we traded away, was Leek Elliott. Was quite funny. So he's now back on the Giants. I think we actually delisted him, not trade him away. With our objectives again, I think we're just gonna go big again. Make the grand final. That is our ultimate goal. And we've got the Doggies in a preseason game. We're not going to go over preseason this year. I just want to get straight to the finals. If we don't make finals, I think I might cry. But our objectives for this year: win the granny, maintain a fan satisfaction of 95%. That's going to be tough. And win 4 interstate games. That one should be fairly easy. But we've got a big job ahead of us. We've got to make finals. Fingers crossed we can get there. Finals is here once again, and the season basically went the same as last year. We didn't win as many games. We went 20-3 in the regular season, but we won our first 10 or 11 games, and we lost really big in the middle of the season. Had a few injuries, but we've come good towards the back end. We can see that I think Jamie Elliott just picked up an injury, but Bruce and Canelio are back, as well as Leek Elliott. Admittedly, the one I really care about there is Canelio. Jamie Elliott is going to come out. We'll have a look and see just who else is available here. Nobody, as I said, that I really care about. So what we're going to do, I'm going to play around with this lineup. We're going to put Jack Silvani on a half-forward flank. Actually, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to put Phoenix on the half-forward flank. Silvani and Canelio can stay on the bench. I think that is the best course of action. Everything else, as is on screen, has basically been our best team this year so far. Brizzy at home, qualifying final if we go out in straight sets once again for a 3rd consecutive year. We don't. We We win our first game. We're through to a prelim. Tommy Green does a fantastic job. 38 disposals and 4 goals. That is exactly what you want from your best players. And the Bulldogs are back. It's another prelim at NG Stadium. The last time this happened, the Bulldogs won the Premiership in 2016. Hopefully we don't have any injuries. Nobody is injured at this point in time. So if we go back down our list of goods, we can see that Harvey Thomas is back from injury. Is there any other big names? Jamie Elliott is back. Connor Iden also back. So let's see what we can do here. We're going to take out Windager and we're going to put Phoenix Gothard on the bench. Jamie Elliott can go back into the starting lineup. And then we are going to do a straight swap. Will Phillips, who we picked up in the national draft, he is going to come out. And Connor Iden is going to go back into the lineup. But it's all down to this. If we desperately need to win this game to get through to the grand final, and we do. 47-point win. We're finally through to a grand final. Adam Treloar, he's finally got a premiership with the Bulldogs. Can he make it 2 in the video? We don't know. We just have to wait and see. I have no idea who we're playing, but Treloar gets best on ground, and deservedly so. And honestly, I cannot plan this any further. It's the Dockers again in the grand final. They did finish in second. We did take Caleb Sarong from them. So this is going to be a very interesting game. In their home and away form, they lost 4 in a row towards the back end of the season, but won their final game of the season. And now, hopefully, nobody is injured going into the granny. Fantastic work. Nobody's injured. That means we don't need to change anything. So, up next, we need to play the grand final, but first of all, I need to fix up the game time because I'm not playing 10-minute quarters. But what a game this is going to be. The Giants in their second grand final. Freo, I've lost track of how many flags they've won in this series. Who's going to come out on top? Let's tune in, find out. And to quote Brian Taylor,
it's absolutely pissing down here with the team.
The weather is absolutely awful right now, but out come Freo, led by Andy Brayshaw. The flamethrowers are still going off on the side of the ground, but it is a rainy day here at the MCG. And what a song that is, the Fremantle Dockers. I think they're going for their 4th flag in this video series. I think they won 2 in our Adelaide video. They won another in another video. I can't remember which one it was. I'm losing track. But one day we will have to rebuild Freo ourselves. And I dare say we probably won't be as successful as they have in this period. And now it's time for the Orange Tsunami. Coming out onto the ground, led by Uncle Toby himself. Here come
the Orange team.
The Tsunami is back, well and truly alive. Let's have a look at the rest of that banner if I can have a look. Nah, I can't have a look, unfortunately. And here we are for the toss of the coin. Freo are calling heads. There's a lot of wind going basically to the right of screen, and that is exactly where we're going to go to start this granny. Just look at that weather. It's absolutely putrid. Jared Witt straight out of the middle. And we get a very easy kick forward. And look at that. It's the Hulkster taking the first mark of the grand final. And hopefully we can get a very, very quick goal in similar fashion to a lot of our other grand finals we've had. Get another intercept in the middle of the ground. Callaghan, quick hands in the middle of the ground. Treloar tries to give it back to Callaghan, but he got wrapped up. Pushing forward now, the Dockers. Now in the hands of Aish, trying to find a target, and Mr. Himmelberg. Harry Himmelberg does a fantastic job at halfback, looking short. Connor Iden just drops the pill. Trying to find a target. Toby Green, great tackle. Ball's loose on the wing. Jared Witt's giving chase. Ball gets wrapped up. Oh, Whitfield just couldn't get rid of it. As Luke Jackson, he's a big unit, did a very good job wrapping him up. Let's just get boot to ball if we can. We can't. It is scrappy, wet weather football today. Callaghan looking for the helmeted one in Darcy Jones. Jesse Hogan's over the top. Probably shouldn't have done that, but it's worked out okay. Probably a little bit too risky for wet weather football, but Jesse Hogan, can he get two? He's hit the flippin' post. Just keep it simple. That's all we have to do in this wet weather footy. Nat Fife finds Luke Jackson. Still on Freo at this point in time. Hasn't requested a trade or anything like that. Treloar's done a hammy. Oh, goodness me. But now Tom Green kicks to an absolute paddock. And Uncle Toby takes the mark. This kick is going to be box office stuff. If he can get it, he can't. Treloar's now been subbed out. And James Leake is into the game. Unfortunately, Treloar, who's a big money signing for us, is not going to be able to make an impact on game day in the grand final. Let's look inside. Get a bit closer to goal. Tom Green now is going to have a shot, not Toby. Let's see if Tom Green can put this one through to get a 14-point lead for the Giants on quarter time. Second quarter underway. Jared Witts tapping it down. Tom Green trying to go wide. Callaghan ambles back into traffic. Nobody home though. Harrison Oliver gets the mark at halfback. Let's go down the line. Jamie Elliott, former Pie, knows all about grand finals. Handball's loose. Back to Green. Back to Elliott. Quick ball forward. Gets wrapped up. Handball inside. Green goes long. Uncle Toby's in the square. He's got it. Surely he can't miss from here. He puts it into the second deck. And it's a 20-point lead for the Giants. Freo really struggling to do absolutely anything with it at the moment. And as soon as I say that, Andy Brayshaw has a shot on goal, but it falls short. Buckley does a good job at fullback. We're now kicking against the wind. Gothard brings the ball to ground. Handball over the top. Nobody home. Ball goes short. And it's in the hands of Nat Fife. And the champion trying to squeeze it in. Can't, and it's a touch behind. Big fly here. Can't take a mark though. Handball forward. Cadman hasn't really been in it today. Great tackle though. Ball comes loose and now we're out. Jamie Elliott, quick handball inside. Canelio looking down the line. Toby. Is it too early for party tricks? When you're Toby Green, it's never too early for party tricks. It might be too early for party tricks. Loose ball at half forward. Let's get it down to the goal square. The Caddyshack to get his first on the day. In what has been a very, very sort of inaccurate start to the grand final for both teams, we put through a fourth and it's a 26-point game. Ball going forward for the Dockers. Great spoil. Goes straight onto the head of Mickey Walters. Let's get it over the top if we can. Whitfield, little dab over the top. Gets intercepted by Luke Ryan. A very good player. Going wide to Sam Sturt. Now with Finn Callaghan standing the mark. Speaking of marks, we get the mark on half-time. And the Dockers have just not shown up in this one. I wonder what Justin Longmuir is going to have to say to his side at half-time, because they have been absolutely nowhere in this one. Second half is now underway. We're going wide with the handball. Probably a little bit too cute with it. Freo goes short. Now they go a bit longer. We get good hands via Buckley at halfback. Let's go down the line. We're kicking with the wind now. So you think we should be able to be okay. Probably shouldn't have played on there. That was probably a little dumb. Darcy Jones, where are you kicking that? What on earth have you done that for? Jamie Elliott trying to keep it in play. Does a good job. Now Cadman has a big job ahead of him. Getting it forward. Silvani Can't stay in front. No good, unfortunately. Now Luke Jackson at half back. Great punch from behind by Callahan. We're just handballing to absolutely nobody here. We're going to need to make some changes, I think, at 3/4 time. Because we are just really struggling right now. Canelio.
Back! I want a spare! Who's Blake's man?
Who is it, Willow?
It's Mitch.
Come on, Mitch! Fucking work, Mitch!
So is he just not working hard?
You will!
No, he's round
What?
the winger.
Right, okay.
Unless
Okay.
we just sack that.
No.
Run, Will! Give it off quick! Fucking!
Right, okay.
I'm glad we got that out of our system. I'm glad that the coach has just gone, given Canelio a good spray as Freo put their first goal through. And it's now back to a 20-point game. Josh Treacy with a very nice kick. Briggs trying to get it out of the ruck. He doesn't, unfortunately. We're just handballing a little bit too much right now. Quick kick forward. It's touched, I believe. Briggs straight onto the ground. Had a shot at goal. Got wrapped up, unfortunately. Now we're just waiting for Draper to come to a decision. Horrible kick. Now to the former Docker in Jesse Hogan. Already has one on the day. Has the win to deal with, and that is going to be a poor kick, I've got a feeling. But it's swinging back. Not far enough, unfortunately. Ball's out to Darcy Jones. Takes a good mark. Hogan, I believe, is going to be deep in the forward line by himself. He was for a moment. Now he's going to have a shot on goal. Siren's gone, so we're going to do the illegal thing and snap around the body after the siren. We get a bit of help from the wind, and it's back out to a 27-point game at 3/4 time. Fairly even quarter, that one, but now it's all got this. It's all come down to this. We just need to play a few good minutes of footy, and we're there. That is not a good start, as I believe that was Brent Daniels got wrapped up. Cadman's running back. Treacy's done a hammy now. It is hammy central right now. And Tom Green could be a chance for a sneaky Norm if he kicks this. Already has one on the day and has 9 disposals to go with it. Not a good kick this, though. That is an absolute stinker. And I've not really taken notice, but I've just noticed that we are 1 behind away from getting our objective, which is 6 behinds on the day, which is quite funny. Jamie Elliott intercepts out of fullback. If we can get this goal, that would be very, very nice. He can get his first of the day and potentially add a second Premiership medal to his name. And it's actually not going to make the distance. It's held up in the wind. And Jesse, actually no, it's Kieran Briggs who's going to have the tough job of kicking this goal. He's done well. I don't know why, but I accidentally put Cadman in the center square. That must have been an accident I did while making the interchanges. And here's Uncle Toby once again. He had Norm Smith potential early on, but this is probably going to be a bit of a wasted opportunity for him to get a Norm Smith. But he puts through his second, but he won't mind. Premiership captain is a lot better than Norm Smith medalist. The Giants just starting to run away with it now. Silvani down in the square, takes the mark. Might have to go with the check side here to get this one through because the wind is pushing away from the goals. Toby Green's done a hamstring now. Why are there so many hamstring injuries? So we kick another. This is slowly becoming hamstring injury the musical. Because both teams, I mean, Treacy, I think, did his hammy. Then Treloar and Toby Green have both done theirs. Kicking down to the goal square, actually in the forward 50. Sarong has a man over the top. He plays on unselfish footy by the man who's going to pick up another Premiership medal. Obviously got a few with the Dockers earlier in this series. Darcy Jones puts through his goal, and now it's over 50 points. 24 minutes gone in the fourth. We must be very close to party time. Laidler with the mark at halfback will go down the line. James Leake, the Tasmanian, can't get the mark on Luke Ryan, who's been one of Freo's best today. But there's the siren. The Giants are premiers. And here we are for the presentations. It's still raining. Everybody has to sit and get wet while we sit and get these presentations done. And while the team song was playing, I'm pretty sure I saw a Freo fan celebrating with the Giants fans, which is quite funny. Jesse Hogan gets the Norm Smith medal for the display. I wonder who it will be on the stats. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And big Adam Kingsley getting his Premiership medal. They're doing his guns a serious disservice in this game. Seriously, his pipes are a lot bigger than that. And here is the moment we've all been waiting for. Toby Green going to be lifting that Premiership Cup for the Giants. .52 win. Very, very outstanding game. We absolutely dominated. Jesse Hogan kicked 2. Toby Green kicked 2. What an outstanding game. Tom Green had a lot of the ball as well. Who gets best on ground? Tom Green gets the 3 votes. Toby Green gets the 2. Probably would have had a bit more of an opportunity to get it had he not done his hammy. And Jesse Hogan also gets 1. Now it's time for the end of season wrap up, and Murphy Reid is your Brownlow medalist for this year. Tom Green finishes second. I feel like he's finished second quite a few times actually, but no other Giants polling in the top 15. It looks like Mr. Jay Polkinghorne winning the Coleman. Not something I would have expected. Cadman, 37 goals. Jesse Hogan, 34, did a very good job. No Rising Star winners for us. Once again, actually, wait, that was one of our players, if I wasn't mistaken. I wasn't really paying attention. We'll have to go back and have a look at that if we can. Can we? Yes, we can. Preston Healy. He's won the Rising Star. Eight games, 8 goals. He did well. Well done, Preston. Anyway, let's push forward to the All-Australian team. Himmelberg makes it once again, this time at centre-half-back. Tom Green also makes it. Jesse Hogan at full forward. 3 is better than 2 in terms of the All-Australians. It's our best effort so far. And in terms of the league stats, we'll have a quick scout. Ben King got the most goals with 46. Archie Perkins, 932 disposals across his 25 games. Harris Andrews got the most marks. Tom Green the most tackles. Lockie Neal with the clearances. And with the hitouts, Ethan Reid for the Suns does a fantastic job. And as for us, Jesse Hogan had the 42 goals in the end. Cadman 40. Brent Daniels 33. Lockie Whitfield 32 goals for halfback. Not a bad effort whatsoever. And with the disposals, we've got Tom Green, Marks, Caleb Sarong. Really, we didn't really touch on Caleb Sarong that much in that final season, but this is awesome. Tom Green, 141 tackles, almost 50 higher than the person who finished in second. Clearances was Tom Green once again. Disposals, he was there. Kieran Briggs, what a ruckman he's been for us. And who was the inaccurate idiot this year? It was Mitch Lewis, 35 goals, 88. What a performance from him. But that is going to do it for today, guys. If you want to see your team done next, leave a comment down below on who you want the next rebuild to be of. But I'm done. This has been a long video, a longer recording than I imagined it would be, but that is going to do it, as I said. Thank you very much for watching up until this point. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And until then, I hope you have a lovely day, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for 900 subscribers, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!